What I would like to invite you is to join me in a little exploration. And in this exploration, we're going to explore a little bit the skin as the organ of touch and what's underneath the sensations this touch produces or this contact produces. So the very first thing to bring your attention to is how you are already in contact with the floor or with the chair or with a ball. I see somebody with a ball. Are you in contact with somebody close to you, with your child or with a dog or with the sofa, with leaning somewhere? Maybe we don't need to differentiate yet touch and contact. It's just how you're in contact with any surfaces and how you bring your attention there. And you can bring your attention at one point. Maybe there's a point which is drawing your attention, like when you sit or when you lay down or you change your position. But you don't need to stay in the same position all the time, because there's something happening when you change your position, you shift your weight. It changes the points of contact you have. So maybe there is a place which draws your attention. Or you actively bring your attention somewhere. And then when you move a little bit, it changes. Something changes. The point where you have contact is shifting slightly with the shifting of weight. And maybe you notice there is some compression of the tissue. There it's just because there is weight, and when there is weight, the tissue is compressed. It's like a sponge. Like, because it's fluid in the sponge and you compress it, the fluids move. And in the sponge, of course, when you wring the sponge, the water flows out. But our bodies have a lot of membranes. So the fluid cannot really go out. It kind of bounces back or it goes somewhere else, but it's like a water balloon. It's just changing the shape as you change your position, you shift your weight. And it's the same when you're in contact with another person or with an animal. where you make contact changes something locally, changes something in the place you make contact. And feel free changing your position. You can lay down if you want, or stand up. When you lay down, the surface where you have contact with the floor enlarges, it becomes bigger, because you need less force to keep yourself up, so you can relax more, you let go more, because you are more held by the earth. And then when you roll, when you move, you feel the pressure and the shifting of pressure in large parts of your body, which is also quite interesting to just follow that. And notice what happens when you move. What happens locally on the flesh, on the fluids, the cells, and what sensations it produces. So again, this is this question between touch and contact. So if we say that touch is how you process the contact, and the contact is more what's happening locally. And then there are nerves, different kind of nerves in your skin, under your skin, which pick up that cellular, metabolic, hydraulic movement, is picked up by the nervous system and processed in a way that you focus there, for example, you bring your attention to a certain place. And then another movement draws your attention to another place. So there's an interesting relationship between touch, contact, and movement. And it's like a circular attunement between these elements. So the movement changes where you have contact, where there is pressure, where fluids are squeezed, there's sponging. And that change produces sensation, which are picked up by the nervous system. But then these sensations, they can feed back into your movement. So that's why I'm saying it's circular, because what you feel, what you sense, produces or feeds into the movement, and that changes again the contact, changes again the fluid dynamics in your body. It stimulates the cells, the membranes, circulation. And again, picked up by the nervous system, by the sensory nerves, feeding back through the motor nerves. So there's a sensory motor loop. And not only in contact with another person or the floor or the chair or wherever you are with the ball, but also just the movement of your hand, how it stretches the skin. Like your skin is really a very elastic organ. Which surrounds your whole body. So any movement you do the skin is stretched, and again, it's like contact. It's happening locally. The fascia is stretched. The spaces between the cells getting a bit larger. So every cell in the skin gets stimulated by the movement. And that's a local effect. It's an effect on the tissue. And then that is picked up by the nervous system. That's processed by the nervous system. And then we call that a sensation or a feeling. But before that, there's something happening. There's something happening before. And that's sometimes we in BMC, we call that cellular consciousness, cellular awareness, cellular processes, tissue processes. If you want, you can also use your voice. You can be free to include other modalities in your movement, because vibration also stimulates the tissues on a local level, on a cellular level. It makes the fluids vibrate. And then, of course, this vibration is picked up by the nervous system, what we call sensations. But really, I think we need to sharpen our awareness of these processes, that there are two processes which are very much interrelated, but there are two processes, the cellular tissular fluid process and the process of sensation. So sounds, using your voice, you can just letting your voice, if you like, vibrate a little bit, like and if you are with another person or another human or non-human being, there's something very fascinating, I find, that the contact allows an exchange on that tissue fluid level. Contact is never immobile, it's never completely still. Contact is always, there's always movement between the two parts who make contact. The two sides, there's always an exchange happening on that cellular tissue level. And if you're by yourself, even if you touch yourself, you can be aware of that dialogue between your hand, let's say, but it can be also the back of your hand, it can be your elbow, it can be your forearm, it can be your leg, it can be any part where you make contact with yourself, that you have both sides involved in that contact. And in touch, we say, when you touch, you're also touched. If you touch somebody, you're also touched by that person. If you put your hand on your body somewhere, you are touched, your hand is touched. If you put your head on your hands, for example, your forehead is resting on your hands, you feel that contact there. It's like your forehead, your skin of your forehead is touching your hand. And there's always movement, there is an exchange happening. And what do you choose, maybe actively, to pick up from that cellular activity? It might be also something going on in your intestines or your stomach, or you maybe just ate and there is some movement, some sounds in your stomach, or even the movement of your tongue in your mouth. You can actively take your tongue and explore your mouth. And usually we put the focus on the tongue. What are the sensations arriving at the tongue? But if you like, you can just switch the focus, and how does your palate feel to be touched? How do you receive? And there is a part receiving on, again, on the local level, on the cellular level, which you don't need to pay any attention to because it's just happening. The cells just making contact, they move towards each other just to, you could even say, you could use the metaphor of snuggling. I mean, snuggling in the sense that they change their shape to meet. Cells changing shape all the time to accommodate contact. And some of it is passive because there is pressure, but some of it is also active. It's an active engagement in the contact. And being with yourself, with the movement, contact, touch, sensations, feelings, or being with another human or non-human. There's this exchange happening. And in contact with the floor, or with a chair, or a ball. And the vibration, if you like. Vibration, another stimulation of cellular activity picked up by the nervous system as sensation. And just notice what it does, what happens, without trying to interpret it or to make any sense of it. That's truly when we talk in body mind centering about experiential learning. It's a bottom up process. It's like opening the nervous system to new information, letting new sensations, new experiences entering the nervous system. And for that, we need to let go of trying to control or trying to hold on to something or trying to make sense even of experience. And the weight can be really a friend or a companion in this process. Because the weight allows you to make even more contact with yourself, with the floor, with any surface, and with others. If we allow gravity and weight to be present in the contact, something else is happening. Something else is opening. It's the weight also which produces movement. It's the movement towards the earth. If you pull away from the earth, it's different than melting into the earth or melting into the contact with the earth or melting into the contact with another person. Allowing to be felt and allowing to feel And then just take a few more minutes to continue whatever you do, enjoying the contact, whatever contact you have, enjoying the movement which moves you, what is moving you, and what do you move in your own body or with another person. Also in your own body, you can move yourself. You can be moved by yourself through touching yourself or feeling the contact in your joints, for example, or between body parts. You can do in stillness or in movement, taking a few more minutes just to be quiet for yourself. Or move or sound, create some vibration, just finishing this exploration in any way which is good for you right now, which makes you feel well in your skin. And if you want to take some notes of your experience, if you like, or get something to drink, or talk with somebody, exchange about your experience.